recommend don't panic. Overreacting will only make things worse. So don't slam on those brakes. Instead, take your foot off the gas and let your car just slow down. If your car has anti-lock brakes, you can lightly tap the brakes. This will help your tires regain traction. Hold that steering wheel steady as well, because if you move it too much while hydroplaning, your car could spin out of control. And just avoid coming to a complete stop after you've regained control of the car. It also is a good idea to pull off onto the shoulder to take a minute and regain your composure. You can hear the rain, how heavy it is. So if you need to do that, go ahead, pull on over to the side, because it can be a little bit uneasy. Again, be careful, slow down. You can see the wind is blowing the rain my way, because that's how strong the winds are. But again, take your time. For now, Memphis, I'm Lakita Johnson. Back to you.
All right, Lakita, and I believe you're under a gas station awning or something. I know we've got you somewhere where you're safe, but if you need to head inside for a couple of minutes, do that and just check back in when you can, because I know we've got those winds that are coming into your area. But Lakita, thank you so much for that. Again, hydroplaning and the flooding, a big concern this morning as well. Again, if you're just waking up with us, maybe your phone made some noise. A severe thunderstorm warning is in place for southern Shelby County and a good chunk of northern DeSoto County until 6:15. This is for the potentially dangerous wind gusts in addition to the flooding. Flooding's a whole other concern we're going to have to get to here in just a little bit, but very strong winds right now in Whitehaven, coming into South Haven here in the next little bit. Maybe we can check in with that MLGW outage map here in just a little bit, if we can get that up here in about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to go back to our rotation detector, because what this is going to show us is not only where the winds are the strongest, but also where there could be a little bit of spin in the atmosphere. And like I told you, the National Weather Service is calling this what we say a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. So they're saying right now, no tornado expected. It doesn't look that crazy yet. But if a couple of things change, this could become a tornado warning shortly. So this is something we're going to watch. It looks like really seeing some interesting signs of rotation down here near Nesbitt. And again, this is not a tornado warning right now, but I just want to get ahead of it because the National Weather Service says it could be. So this is right near Nesbitt Road, coming up to Highway 51. If you know where the driver's license testing place is, and that big white ball on I-55, that's actually one of our weather radars from the National Weather Service. That is about where the strongest of the winds are going to be. So that is an area we are going to continue to watch. And if you're familiar with this screen, and I know folks, I hate showing this because it looks like I threw a bucket of paint and spilled it on your screen, but this really allows us to see where there could be a little bit more rotation. So where you see the green colors, we're looking at the winds now, not how hard it's raining, but the wind mode. And you can see up at the top, the greens are winds that are going toward the radar in Millington. Reds are going away from the radar in Millington. So when you get the reds and the greens close together, that is where there could be some circulation. National Weather Service now issuing another severe thunderstorm warning. This is going for Benton, DeSoto, Marshall, Panola, Quitman, Tate, and Tunica counties until 6:30. So we're going to be with you until at least 6:30 this morning because of the threat of damaging wind gusts and, again, a possible tornado. So let's zoom out here and I'll kind of give you an idea of where that new warning is. This one, I mean, this is a massive severe thunderstorm warning. That's that yellow-orange color that you see here. And the reason they've issued it so long is because this entire line from South Haven down through southern Tunica County is producing wind gusts that could be dangerous. So if you don't have to travel right now, I would not. It is not advisable to be on the roads right now. I would not be on I-55 from Memphis through northern Panola County, honestly. Anywhere north of Como and Senatobia, I would not be on I-55. At least give it another 30 or 45 minutes and let the heaviest of the rain and the wind pass you by. I still think, honestly, the biggest threat with this is the heavy rain. And I do want to get to that in just a little bit. But this area right here is really starting to pique my interest. Again, that's right over Nesbitt. It seems like an area of possible rotation. Nobody should be on I-55 right now from South Haven through Hernando, because that is where the strongest of the winds are going to be. We don't have a tornado warning right now, but I would not be surprised to see one. And that's why we're calling this what the National Weather Service calls severe thunderstorm warning, but a tornado is possible. That's basically saying right now the winds are strong. They could get stronger with a tornado. So we're going to watch it very carefully. For right now, mainly just some gusty winds, but still nobody needs to be on I-55 in DeSoto or Tate counties, even into Shelby County, because the winds are so strong. We can zoom out here just a little bit and I can show you some of those green colors where the strongest winds are coming into Hickory Hill right now, 385. You probably need to be off that coming into Germantown here in just the next little bit. I'm going to put another storm track on this just so we can kind of follow along. And the thing is, once the worst of the winds get past you, it's going to keep on raining. This is a situation where we're likely going to see rain in the Memphis metro maybe through 8 or 9 a.m. So it is going to be a very rainy morning. But what I want to track for you is the wind, because that's what we're concerned with the most right now. Yes, the flooding rain, it is really coming down right now. I-40 and Sycamore View here at the TV station on our metal roof. I'm not sure if you can hear it on my microphone. You probably hear it a little better at your house. But in addition to the flooding, yes, we also have the damaging wind threat. And I want to kind of just put a track on that and time out. Again, this is not what time it's going to start raining. This is going to be what time the strongest of the winds get to you. And that's when we could start to see some power outages here. And again, this is moving off to the northeast about 30 or 35 miles an hour. Winds coming into Pleasant Hill in DeSoto County right about now. Hickory Hill in Memphis right about now. Coldwater in North Mississippi 547. Germantown by 549. Olive Branch 551. Senatobia by 607. Collierville by 608. Piperton by 613. Again, I'm not tracking when it's going to start raining. I'm tracking when you're going to get the strongest winds out of this storm. So if I were you, I would try to find some flashlights by this time because as you know, it doesn't take much and the rustling of the branches and the power lines to get some power outages here. And again, like I said, if we can get an update on those numbers of power outages here soon, if you just want to tell me, we don't have to show the map, but just get an idea of what it looks like in the metro right now. Again, Senatobia, Como, you are up next. You are really about to get in on some heavy rain. That severe thunderstorm warning in North Mississippi until 6:30. It goes for Metro Memphis until 6:15. Really quickly, I want to break away from our damaging wind threat, and I want to talk about our flooding threat, because most people are seeing flooding. Most people are seeing flooding as opposed to the wind. And I want to show you outside. I think this is a live picture. We had told you before we had to get into severe weather mode of flooding at I-55 and Macklemore. So if we want to take that picture now, it's dark outside, folks. It's hard to see. But what you can see here, look at that. That is a bulldozer. My goodness, that is picking up water. If we can have them pan back over to that here out in the field and kind of see what's going on. This is traffic that is stopped. And if you're familiar, this is that construction zone, I-55 and Macklemore, where everything's down to one lane. Folks, oh my goodness. I have never seen anything like that. I've lived here for over 20 years, and I have never seen a bulldozer scooping water out of the roadway. This is remarkable. I-55 and Macklemore completely shut down this morning. Nobody is getting through that. I do not have to tell you, if a bulldozer is scooping water out of the roadway, you are not getting through that. And the scene that you see here on I-55 is going to be a scene that plays out across the city. Maybe not to this degree. I don't think we're going to see bulldozers around the city. I think they just happen to have one nearby with the construction that is going on there. But I-55 and Macklemore, forget about it. If you got to be across the river this morning, I-40 is going to be your best bet. You can see that traffic. They are not going anywhere anytime soon. All right, friends in the back, let's keep an eye on that, and we'll go back to it if anything interesting is happening. Let me jump back to DeSoto County, because we do have a tornado possible with this warning. And I know that's confusing to most people. We have the tornado warning, which is issued when there is a tornado forming. Then we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is issued when the winds are just strong, just a normal thunderstorm. What they can do at the Weather Service is issue a severe thunderstorm warning for the winds and then say, a tornado is possible. A tornado could still form. It's not happening right now, but it could. And so that's why I want to pay a little bit more attention in here. Right now, it seems to be just mainly winds, but anytime they use that word and say a tornado is possible, it's something we want to pay attention to. Still some signs of very strong winds in here. These winds right here, that looks to be about Goodman Road and let's say maybe Getwell or Pleasant Hill. Destructive winds coming through there. Now that's going to knock some trees around coming through I-55 right now into northern Hernando. And that line of winds, I know it's hard to see, but it's just where those colors are a little bit brighter right in here. So we'll zoom in just a little bit into Metro Memphis. Germantown, you just got the winds. South wind right there at Winchester and Germantown Road where the at-home store is. They've got the winds right now coming into Forest Hill, down Poplar Avenue, eventually toward Bailey Station and Collierville. This is where we have the strongest winds with the storm that are moving off to the east. It continues to move off to the east. This might be a little bit better to see on our shear product, and this will kind of show us where those strongest winds are. 385 in Winchester right now. Here's a tornado warning. DeSoto County now under a tornado warning. Storm capable of producing a tornado over Hernando. Let's go right down to that. Again, folks, we told you this was a tornado possible situation. This is now a tornado warning. You'll see that pop up in red on the screen here in just a moment. But a tornado warning has been issued for DeSoto County until 6:15. There you see it right there with that area of rotation just to the east of I-55. I want to zoom in here and get you some streets to where this is. I think this is mainly going to stay south of Goodman Road in South Haven, but if you're along College Road, Sweeney Road, Star Landing Road, the big South Haven water tower is right there. This is moving off to the northeast. Pleasant Hill, if you're near Church and Pleasant Hill, now is the time to be in your tornado safe place. And speaking of those with a tornado warning, I want to get to our tornado safe places. I think they're in graphics 3. If we can take that and we can kind of show you where you need to be if you are in this red box. This includes Nesbit, Pleasant Hill, over to southern portions of Olive Branch, portions of Highway 78. And again, this tornado warning is going to go until 6:15. If we can get those tornado safety tips, they actually are, I think they're in the severe weather rundown. So we might not have those just yet, but if we can get them, that would be great. Just whenever we can. The bottom line is if you're in this red box right now, you need to be in your tornado safe place. That's going to be the lowest floor of the building that you're in. Don't try to drive anywhere. Just go to the lowest floor that you're in. If you're in a 2-story home, get down to the lowest level that you can. If you got a basement, that's great. I don't know of anybody in DeSoto County that does. So what's going to do you best is to just go to the center portion of your home. If you've got a bathroom, a closet, something in the middle of your house with no windows, that's going to be your best bet, and stay there for about the next 20 minutes or so until I can give you the all clear. Again, if you're just joining us now, a lot of people's phones are going off in DeSoto County. Possibly producing a quick tornado. Again, here's your tornado warning. Let's talk about those safety tips. If you're in the warning, here's what you need to do. Basement or smallest center room. Like I said, most people in DeSoto County don't have a basement, so stay away from windows. If you have time, maybe grab a helmet for the kids. It can't hurt. It'll just help. So if you got an extra bicycle helmet, something like that, maybe bring it with you just to cover your head, just in the worst case scenario. No major high rises in this tornado warning in DeSoto County, so we don't have to worry about that. But again, if you're at home, smallest room on the center portion of your home, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. All right, let's go back over to the radar because I want to focus in on this tornado warning. Again, we have this area of rotation here, and like I said, we're going to have to go back to this mode that not many people like because it's so hard to see what is going on. All you need to know is that that is the rotation where you see the greens and the reds. So there's Getwell Road, here's Malone Road, up here is College Road. So right now it's coming up onto College Road, coming up onto Pleasant Hill where those subdivisions are near Pleasant Hill and Church Road. There you see that new update over College Road right now. So if you're along Church Road and Pleasant Hill Road, coming up to Craft Road eventually, this I think is going to get pretty close to to Goodman Road and 78. That's kind of the direction this thing is going. We'll zoom it out just a little bit now that we've got our bearings. So right there is Goodman and 78. This thing's moving off to the northeast at about 25 miles an hour. So if you're near that 78 Goodman Road interchange, now is the time to take your tornado safety tips. If you're in the city of Olive Branch, go ahead and be in your safe place. Again, this tornado warning does not include the city of Memphis. We are seeing torrential rain. We are seeing damaging wind gusts. But right now, our only tornado warning is in effect for DeSoto County, Mississippi, with some rotation right over the Pleasant Hill community. And I'm going to put a storm track on this. I'm going to switch back over to another mode of the radar just so it's maybe a little bit easier on your eyes. You can see our rotation detector lighting up in that brighter green color. So this is moving off to the east at 25 miles an hour. Let's put a track on this and we'll kind of show you where about it is going to be going. So they said about 25 miles an hour, and I'm going to draw this track outside of the tornado warning. I don't think this storm is going to continue to be capable of producing a tornado because the environment that we're in is such an interesting environment, because this is not going to produce long tornadoes. These are going to be tornadoes that touch down really quickly and then they're done with. So this is not going to be a situation where this tornado touches down and it's on the ground for dozens of miles. But if you're in Olive Branch, like I said, downtown Olive Branch, that's where that marker is. Olive Branch is a pretty big city. So think about downtown Pigeon Roost Road in Olive Branch by about 6:06. If the storm holds together, look out Collierville. You're not in a tornado warning right now, but that's generally the direction it's going to go. Collierville, eventually toward Piperton and Rossville by 6:49. Seeing some stronger signs of a rotation in here. Let's zoom on in, and now you see those red colors starting to pop up. And if you look at the scale, we're now getting into a stronger area of rotation. So this is again over Pleasant Hill and Church Road. This is going to be coming up to Goodman Road and Craft, Maywood. If you remember Maywood Beach, I know it's not there anymore. It's still on our map, but that's generally where this is going to be going. Olive Branch, Goodman Road, and 305 by the Lowe's. We're looking out in that area. Bottom line is, if you have an Olive Branch address, go ahead and get into your tornado safe place. I think very quickly, I know this tornado warning technically includes parts of South Haven. Soon enough, we're going to be able to give South Haven the all clear. And if you are near like Goodman Road and 55, the threat of a tornado is past you. The strongest winds are past you. Now you can see them, like I said, coming up onto Pleasant Hill, Craft, eventually 78, and over to 305. I don't want to forget about anybody. We're going to focus on this tornado warning if you're in DeSoto County, so don't leave us. But we got a lot of folks that, of course, want to know, well, what's happening in my neighborhood? So now's about the time as we approach the top of our 6 o'clock newscast. I'm just going to zoom out and give you a broad view of what is happening. So we still have very heavy rain, generally along I-40. So up toward Humboldt, even all the way up to Nashville, we've got heavy rain right through the Memphis metro, then some heavy rain down towards Senatobia, back towards Helena, West Helena. Our only tornado warning right now is for DeSoto County. We've got a tornado watch in place until 11 a.m., but our only tornado warning right now is for DeSoto County, Mississippi. That goes for about the next 15 minutes. The colors in yellow here, this does include part of Memphis. That's your severe thunderstorm warning. That's where we could see the strong winds of 60 miles an hour. Even if you're not in a tornado warning, if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning, those winds can still cause damage. Again, we're talking 55 to 65-mile-an-hour winds. That's going to knock out some power, especially down there in northern Tate County. All right, so that's kind of your reset. That's the broad view of what's going on. Our main area of concern, like I said, it's in DeSoto County where that tornado warning is. But I do want to get another check on the Memphis Metro. Things are starting to slack up just a little bit downtown, Midtown, Whitehaven, and the airport area. The worst of the storm is past you. We can give you that all clear. Still very heavy rain, blinding rain right now over in the eastern portion of Shelby County, Germantown Parkway, again over to Collierville. Eventually heavy rain coming in to Oakland, Somerville, and Fayette County. So that's where the next in line for those damaging wind gusts of 55 to 65 miles an hour. We've got that tornado warning for DeSoto County. I'm going to come right back to that, but very quickly, Tate County, you're also under a severe thunderstorm warning. This little line right here, that is producing some very strong wind gusts. Just came through Coldwater here a little bit ago. If you live out in rural Tate County off to the east of Coldwater, you're going to be next to see those damaging wind gusts. But of course, any time that we have a tornado warning, our focus is going to go to that. So I want to stay with that for just a little bit. And South Haven, pretty much, I can give you the all clear. Nesbitt, I can give you the all clear. Hernando, I can give you the all clear. This is becoming an Olive Branch issue, and soon enough, they're going to have to make a decision on if they're going to cancel this tornado warning or extend it. Right now, I don't see anything that impressive that would indicate to me that a tornado is on the ground and actively causing damage. But the thing is, these things can change so fast. Still very good signatures of rotation. And by good, unfortunately, I mean not so good. Bad signs of rotation. 78 near the Nail Road overpass. This is between Hacks Cross, pretty close to 305. And then just to the south of Goodman Road. So nobody needs to be driving on Highway 78 south of Craft in DeSoto County. And nobody needs to be on Goodman Road east of Pleasant Hill going into Olive Branch. So between the Marshall County line and to Pleasant Hill, you do not need to be driving right now because it's just not safe. And again, we're at 6 o'clock now, so I want to welcome you to ABC 24 News at 6. Today, the story is weather because we have a tornado warning that's in place for portions of DeSoto County until 6:15. This signature here is really starting to look a little more interesting to me. And I talked about earlier, I know this is the mode of the radar that people hate to see because they don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And it's not supposed to. It just looks like a bucket of spilled paint. And I'm sorry, I wish I could show you something better, but this is the only thing that the radar can show us. But I'll try to explain it in a way that maybe you can get something from it and learn something from it. What you're looking at now is the winds. You're not looking at the rain, you're looking at the winds in the storm. Green is winds going toward the radar. Our radar is in Millington. So greens are going to the north, reds are going to the south, and anytime you see them touching together, that is where there's an area where winds are spinning because that's what the radar sees. It determines winds are going in two different directions. So we have an area of rotation now crossing Highway 78, coming very close to downtown Olive Branch and eventually over toward Hacks Cross Road and Alexander Road. We've got some new apartment complexes out here. So if you live in one of those apartment complexes, now's the time to meet your neighbor. You need to go down to the first floor that you can. If you can get into the community office or the leasing office, you don't need to be on an upper floor of any building right now. And I know right there along 302, we do have some of those apartment complexes. So just a note for you. This storm, like I said, moving off to the east at about 25 miles an hour. Here's our area of rotation. What I showed you, the reds and the greens, and it looks like a mess. This product kind of cleans it up for you a little bit and makes it a little easier to see. So you can see strong signs of rotation just to the south of downtown Olive Branch. This is going to be pretty close to 302 and Hacks Cross, eventually coming up toward Polk Lane and State Line Road, just to the north of Goodman Road. So this is still an area that we're going to watch, and I'm going to put another storm track on it because the storm is still showing good signs of rotation in a way that they very well could extend this tornado warning. And if they do decide to extend it, it's going to go probably for southern Shelby County, parts of Collierville, northern Marshall County, and then into Fayette County. Again, hard to say if they're going to do that just yet, but I still see decent signs of rotation in here, and I would not be surprised to see that at all. I'm going to put a storm track again. What I'm tracking here is the area of rotation. So this is not tracking what time it's going to start raining, what time it's going to get windy. This is tracking if, God forbid, there is a tornado in this storm. This is where it's going to be. Collierville by 6:27. If it holds together, Piperton by 6:30. Moscow, Tennessee by about 7. Again, you're not in the tornado warning just yet, but as this all moves off to the northeast, if it holds together, you certainly could be. So a tornado warning continues for eastern DeSoto County. Like I said, if you're just waking up, I know your phone probably went off in South Haven and Hernando. You're all clear right now, but I'll tell you, with every update, I am getting more and more concerned about the possibility that this is going to drop down a brief tornado. So I'm telling you folks right now, if you're along Hacks Cross Road over toward Polk Lane, Goodman Road, this is now in eastern DeSoto County, getting out of Olive Branch, but good signs of rotation here. No indication of a tornado on the ground, but it's good enough signs of rotation that this storm could produce a quick tornado at any point. Now, there's some good news and there's some bad news with this. The kind of setup that we have today does not lend us to strong tornadoes. These are not going to be violent tornadoes that are just destructive, and they're not going to last very long. They're going to be brief, weak tornadoes that hopefully don't cause any major damage. The problem is we're in DeSoto County, which is a pretty populated area. Even over toward the outskirts of eastern DeSoto County, headed toward Marshall County, there's Polk Lane, Mustang Road. So now you're getting up into let's see, what high school is that? I'll think about it here in just a little bit. I'm from DeSoto County, so don't get mad at me. But those high schools, you know where I'm talking about. They're the Mustangs. That is where eventually this area of rotation, Center Hill, there's the road right there. I knew it would come to me here in a little bit. So if you live near the Center Hill schools, that's generally where this area of rotation is going to be going. And again, still very good signs of rotation in here. What I do want to check is our debris mode. And what this is going to show us, if there is a tornado, you're going to see a little dot in here. And you're not seeing anything there. We'll keep an eye on this, but I do not have any signs right now that this storm is actively producing damage in DeSoto County. Like I said, it's going to be a system where it touches down really quickly and then it lifts back up. So it could be a moment's notice that there's a quick tornado that touches down and then it lifts right back up. So that is some encouraging news. No significant signs of rotation, but if there is a tornado that drops down, this is about where it's going to be. Along Goodman Road, heading over toward Polk Lane, you've got those big warehouses out there at that new traffic signal out there in eastern Olive Branch and eastern DeSoto County. So that's about where it's going. Again, eventually up toward the Center Hill schools, DeSoto Road, over toward Highway 309, which takes you into Collierville. So that is the area that we're watching, and we're going to keep a close eye on it here for the next little bit. This tornado warning remains in effect until 6:15. It does include, like I said, eastern portions of Olive Branch. What I do like to do is clear some folks. So I'm going to take a quick pause from the tornado warning, and I'm going to show you where the rotation is, and then I'm going to give some folks the all clear. This signature is really not looking good to me, though, so I don't want to take too long. South Haven, Nesbitt, Hernando, Airport, downtown Memphis, Lake Cormorant, Horn Lake. You are clear of the threat of a tornado. Who's still in it? Olive Branch and eastern DeSoto County. National Weather Service agreeing with me now that rotation is really tightening up. And they teach us on a product like this that if you see an S shape, that is where you could be seeing a possible tornado, and I'm starting to see that right there. So I want to go back to our velocity mode and keep an eye on that. And again, this is over Polk Lane and Highway 302, getting close to the Marshall County line. So DeSoto Road right there at the Marshall County line, that is eventually where this is going to be. Then it's going to be just to the north of Barton in the extreme northwestern corner of Marshall County. So I want to go ahead and give you a heads up. If you're in this area, now's the time to be in your tornado safe place. I want to go back to this mode. You might be able to understand it a little bit easier. So there's that rotation. I'm going to zoom in real tight here just because, like I said, we got a lot of roads down here. You'll recognize some of them. So there's Hacks Cross, Polk Lane. This is now moving off to the northeast. So now we're probably a little bit closer to Creekside Drive, Fox Creek Drive. We've got some neighborhoods out there. Brayburn, Maine, that's a big subdivision right there to the south of Goodman Road. That is about where this is going to be. So like I said, now is the time to take your tornado safety tips. Let's get another look at those right now. Fox Creek Drive, Brayburn, Maine, those subdivisions, and out towards Center Hill. Here's what you need to do if you are in this warning. If I just called out your neighborhoods, you need to go to the lowest floor of the building that you're currently in. I know a lot of the houses out here have 2 stories. I have a good friend from high school, lives right there on Fox Creek Drive and has 2 stories in her house. So if you're in a 2-story house, you got to get down to the lowest level you can and find a center room like the bathroom or the closet or the hallway, something in the middle of your house and away from windows. You don't want to pick a room with windows. If you got a a bicycle helmet nearby, that's never a bad tool to have. If the worst does happen, you can throw it on the kids quickly. It can't hurt, it can only help. But again, Center Hill Schools, this is eventually where this rotation is going to be tracking. There's Handy Corner, and eventually, again, DeSoto Road up to the County Line Road. There's the Marshall County line right there. So we're getting really close to the end of DeSoto County. Here's the Olive Branch Airport right there. That's the runway. So just to give you kind of your bearings, I think generally you probably know where I'm talking about if you're familiar with this area. But again, if you're just joining us, tornado warning remains in effect for eastern DeSoto County for about the next 5 minutes. I would not be surprised to see this extended. So here's your early heads up. Marshall County, northern Marshall County, even into parts of Fayette County, this storm is generally headed in your direction, and if it maintains its strength, we could see a tornado warning that is issued for your neck of the woods here in just a matter of moments. The National Weather Service, they're monitoring it carefully, but I will say in that last update, you saw a little bit of that red go away. Here's the update. New tornado warning, DeSoto and Marshall counties until 6:45. So we're going to be with you for at least the next 30 minutes now. They've extended that warning, just like what we were talking about moments ago. There's your new box. That red box now includes Barton over to the 269 interchange with Goodman Road. And I think this is generally going to stay now to the north of Goodman Road. So this is pretty much now passing Goodman Road. So right there at Brayburn, Maine in that subdivision. If, God forbid, there is a tornado, that's where it is right now. It's crossing over Goodman Road at the Fox Creek subdivision at Brayburn, Maine, and that subdivision. It's going to come pretty close to DeSoto Road at the Marshall County line. And then beyond that, it's going to be pretty close to Byhalia Road at the Tennessee state line going into Shelby County. So if you normally take 269 to get around town, I know that's an easy bypass for folks, especially in Marshall County and out in like Eads. If you normally take 269, now is not the time to be on that. I would not be on 269, that eastern side, anywhere from, let's say, Lewisburg Road all the way up around to Highway 72 into Collierville. Again, if you're just joining us, I like to do a reset every once in a while because we have a new warning. That means people's phones are just now going off and they're just now tuning in. So you'll forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but people are constantly joining and I want to make sure that they have the latest info as well. Right now, a tornado warning has been issued for extreme northeastern DeSoto County and northern portions of Marshall County until 6:45. We've got that area of rotation. It's crossing over Goodman Road near the Fox Creek subdivision right now. And eventually it's going to be crossing into Marshall County right there at DeSoto Road. I want to put a new storm track on this area of rotation just so you kind of get an idea of the general direction that it is going over the next little bit. This is moving off to the east at 25 miles an hour. So you should have time if you want to be in your safe place. Now is the time that you want to do it. This is going to be in southern portions of Collierville by about 6:30, eventually toward Rossville by 6:48. That is if it holds together. We are not really in an environment that's good for storms to get going and stay going for hours on end. So that might be the one thing that helps us here is this storm is going to kind of weaken and then strengthen back up. Weaken and then strengthen back up. So it's something we're going to watch. I will tell you that the latest update that we saw, you can see on the color scale here, we lost a lot of that red. Now we're back to just mostly green. So still areas of very strong winds, still areas of rotation, but they're not as strong as they were. I still want you in your tornado safe place right now in the eastern portion of the county. Confirmed tornado now on the ground, just as we were saying that. This is a confirmed tornado basically over the area we were just talking about. And folks, that is not good because that's just over that subdivision we were talking about near the Fox Creek area along Goodman Road, just to the east of Olive Branch. Brayburn, Maine, we've got a neighborhood right there. And I'm wondering if they saw some debris pop up on the radar. There it is. My goodness, we've just had a neighborhood that looks like it's taken a hit from this tornado. That Brayburn, Maine subdivision that we were just talking about at Handy Corner, what you're seeing here is tornado debris. Where you see that blip on the radar, I'm not going to waste your time explaining it. That is a tornado. Without a doubt, a tornado is on the ground right now. Goodman Road at Payne Lane. If you're on Payne Lane up to DeSoto Road, south of the Center Hill Schools, We've just had a tornado touchdown over Handy Corner, now crossing into the northern portion of Marshall County along DeSoto Road. So right there, folks, like I said, without a doubt, that is a tornado that has just caused some damage. Basically, what happens is the radar can tell the difference between the sizes of objects that it can see. So it can tell the difference between a little bitty raindrop, which is what's showing up over here, and something bigger, which is what's showing up right here. I am hoping that what we are seeing that is bigger is just some trees, some branches, and some limbs, but we've got that subdivision right there. Guys, I don't know if y'all want to send anybody out there just to check on things, but what you're looking for is Brayburn, Maine, near Goodman Road and Center Hill Road. There's the Fox Creek Drive that goes into the Fox Creek subdivision right there at Brayburn, Maine. Center Hill Road at Goodman Road. We just had a tornado cross right over that intersection, and I'm hoping that it's not still on the ground. Like I was saying, these are going to be very quick, weak, hopefully, tornadoes that touch down, cause some minor damage, and then lift right back up. But I can tell you without a doubt, our radar is picking up on something that has been tossed into the air, which is obviously not good news. So this is a confirmed tornado crossing into northern Marshall County. If you're along DeSoto Road, Byhalia Road, 309 going into Collierville, a tornado remains on the ground. All right, on the phone right now, we want to take a quick pause. We've got Sheriff Bill Rasco in DeSoto County. Sheriff Rasco, I know this just happened probably while you were on the phone, but do you have anything you can tell us, any reports of damage or anything you know that we might not?
No, sir. We just got to dispatch and
all right, sounds like we might be having some trouble getting in. Rasco.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Sheriff Rasco, I got you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just talked to dispatch, and we don't have any report of any tornadoes yet, other than what you just heard, what I just heard you say over the radio. But no, we don't have any flooding right now, and we're taking everything precaution that we can to take care of what's going on.
And yeah, I can tell you, unfortunately, I think since we were on the line, we might have had a tornado touchdown. In fact, it does look like that. Again, that's at the Fox Creek subdivision right there on Goodman Road. So Sheriff Rasco, I think we're still having some trouble hearing you. I'm afraid you might be getting some more calls here in the next little bit. So we'll let you go. I know it's busy down there with all the flooding rain in addition to this, but if you could check back in with us when you do get some more information, because it certainly looks like that unfortunately we did just have some damage occur within the last 5 minutes near the Fox Creek subdivision and Brayburn, Maine. You see that street right there? That's another little neighborhood that goes to the south of Goodman Road. This is now crossing over into Marshall County. So our focus wants to shift here a little bit. So, and in fact, as we say that, they just took DeSoto County out of the warning. So if you're in DeSoto County, we are all clear from the threat of a tornado. This is now becoming a Marshall County issue. And I want to switch back over to our rotation right now, because you can see Byhalia Road and Goodman Road coming up on 269. That is going to be your area that is next in line. So if we'll zoom out here, I'll show you again, DeSoto County, I can give you the all clear from this threat of a tornado. Still several signs of rotation in here in Marshall County. In fact, there's a little area here along I-22 that is piquing my interest just a little bit. It's not in the warning, but you see that red showing up. That's what we just saw moments ago in DeSoto County. We've got the same thing showing up now in Marshall County. So Red Banks area. We've got another little area of rotation that might be trying to spin up. So this is now I-22 since it's south into Marshall County, but along Red Banks Road, Moore Road, Rabbit Ridge Road, we don't have a tornado warning here yet, but we do have signs of rotation that could prompt a tornado eventually. So that is an area that we are going to watch. In fact, if you were with us about an hour ago, we told you the National Weather Service said a tornado is possible. That is still the area that is showing a possible tornado. So right now, no tornado warning, but there is still some rotation there in northern Marshall County. I do want to continue to focus, though, on our sliver of a tornado warning. This is for Marshall County until 6:45. And again, if you're just joining us, we had some debris show up on the radar. And I'm going to step off here. I can only do this over on my computer, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to kind of just, you'll bear with me for just a little bit, but I want to kind of back up the radar and show you exactly where that damage occurred. And you can see the debris detector is still lighting up a little bit, but it was really lighting up right about there. You look at the clock, that should be 6:09 at the top of your screen. But that is over Polk Lane and Goodman Road. That is where we had what looks to be a tornado touchdown. And what we can do here, actually, I'm going to clear off what is on the radar and just make it completely blank. And this will kind of give us an idea of what is going on in that neighborhood. And what is happening down there. I'm going to try to find a product that's maybe blank. There we go. As you can see, right where that debris signature was showing up, I had to switch to the hail mode to clear it up. We've got this whole subdivision right here that goes pretty long along Braeburn, Maine, south of Goodman Road. I'd be willing to bet that thing probably touched down on Polk Lane, just south of those warehouses. If you know DeSoto County, a few years ago, probably 6 years ago now, they built those big warehouses just to the east of Hacks Cross. So Polk Lane, we likely had a tornado touchdown here. And there's a little area here where there's nothing built, it's just trees. Let's cross our fingers that it touched down right there, threw up some trees, and then it was done. I'm really hoping that it lifted back up into the sky before it got to that Braeburn, Maine subdivision, because if it didn't, that is about where it would have crossed, right through that subdivision and then over onto Center Hill Road along Goodman Road. So that's just kind of to get your bearings straight as to where it looks like we just had a tornado touchdown. But I don't want it to get too lost on us that we still have rotation that has now moved off into Marshall County. So a tornado warning does continue now until 6:45 for the northern portion of Marshall County. We'll jump this back ahead to the current time, and you can see how that rotation has moved pretty much right now over I-269 over toward Wingo Road. There's some more warehouses right out there. They built those along that new interstate a few years ago, but still signs of rotation here. This is eventually going to be up along 72 in Marshall County. Parnell Road up to the north in Tennessee. If this holds together, that's where this is going to be. Confirmed tornado remains. According to the National Weather Service, they're going to continue this tornado warning until 6:45. So again, if you're in northern Marshall County, I'm going to kind of zoom out here a little bit just so you can get your bearings straight as to what is going on. There's that little bitty tornado warning. I mean, it is just barely in Marshall County, but it is there in the northern portion of Marshall County. Just a quick update here. Highway 51 at North Parkway is shut down in both directions due to a gas leak. That's Highway 51 at North Parkway. So that's going to be Thomas and North Parkway pretty much. So we're going to work on that. But for right now, our main focus continues to be this tornado warning, and it's a very little tornado warning. The National Weather Service is doing a really good job of only putting the warning out for the folks that could actually be impacted by this. So it's going to be pretty much 269 crossing it right now over to Highway 72. So there are some homes out here. There are some businesses out here. We've got some warehouses right there along Highway 72. You've got those gas stations right when you cross 72 from Tennessee over into Mississippi, headed down toward Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, you're not in the warning right now, but still some signs of rotation in northern Marshall County. We need you to be in your tornado safe place. All right. Let's pause here. Let's do kind of a reset and show you what is going on. If you're just waking up with us, if you're just joining us, I'm ABC 24 meteorologist Trevor Burchett. We've been on the air for about the last hour now in continuous weather coverage mode. We had a tornado touchdown, what appears to be a tornado touchdown, just to the east of Olive Branch near the Fox Creek subdivision and Braeburn, Maine, along Goodman Road in Olive Branch. We're waiting to get any information on if there was any damage reported out of that. I'm hoping that it missed that neighborhood right there. I'm hoping that it kind of threw up some trees and that was it. So say a prayer, cross your fingers now, and let's just hope that to be the case. But as soon as we get any more information on that, we will pass it along to you. We still have a tornado warning for Marshall County, and we're going to get back to this. I don't want to forget about you. But for the rest of the viewers, I do want to just zoom out and do a little bit of a reset because we've got several major stories that are happening across the area right now. The second big story is the flooding rain. We have had several inches of rain overnight. We've got flash flood warnings in effect for a good chunk of the area. Memphis, in fact, nearly 4 inches of rain, and we have several roads that are flooded or impassable across the Memphis metro area. I don't know if I still have that in my traffic system. I might. If I do, let's take that. It should be that list of flooded roadways that maybe we can take here in just a little bit. That should be on traffic. But for now, yeah, let's show that. Let's go to that really quick. This is I-55 in Macklemore, and it's so flooded in that construction zone. Again, this is I-55 right where it goes down to 2 lanes where they're working on the interstate. We actually had the road completely covered in water, and a bulldozer was out there shoveling water out of the roadway and pouring it off to the side. I-55 near Macklemore remains closed this morning. You got to take I-40 as your alternate. And again, maybe on traffic, just go ahead and take traffic. I'll find it. Here it is. Flooded roadways across the Memphis area. These reports are from about an hour ago, so some of these might have cleared up, and we definitely have more since this. Hickory Hill and Knight Arnold is flooded. I-55, actually northbound and southbound now, is flooded. Holmes and Nathan, Getwell and Rains, Mendenhall and Rains, also Poplar and Truce seeing some flooding. Again, that is right there in front of the Clark Tower. So a good rule of thumb is that if you know an area that typically floods, it's probably going to be flooded today in addition to other areas. So if you can wait it out, if you can work from home a little bit or do something like that, that might be a better bet because it is a mess out there. We've got tornadoes, we've got damaging winds, and we've got flooded rain. All right, let's go back over to the radar, and I'll kind of give you a wide view of what is going on. And you can see still very heavy rain in Fayette County right now, torrential downpours right now, and then heavy rain into northern Mississippi. All right, again, like we said earlier, I think Highway 51 at North Parkway, both lanes. So that's going to be Thomas at North Parkway on the north side of Memphis, close to Uptown. We have a gas leak there. So Highway 51, Thomas Street at North Parkway, closed in both directions due to a gas leak. Thank you, Aaron. I know I'm the only one on screen right now, but we have dozens of people efforting to get information for us off camera and bringing it to me. So I appreciate all the folks back in the back. Like I said, about a dozen folks right now working in the building. So heavy rain continues. We've still got very heavy rain and gusty winds in Fayette County. Just came through Somerville, just came through Oakland, and heavy rain again in West Helena. So these areas could see an additional 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches of rain. And of course, that's not going to help our flooding situation at all. All right, Marshall County, I'm not forgetting about you. Of course, anytime we have a tornado warning, that is what our attention is going to go to. And I'll tell you that any rotation has moved out of the tornado warning. So if there is still some signs of rotation, it's pretty much out of the warning right now. So I would not be surprised here anytime soon to see that tornado warning dropped. And as it does so, maybe here in the last 15 minutes of the show, we can run through that first segment again and kind of get some of that info out there. So if we can just plan ahead for that, get some segments ready for maybe 15 minutes of news before we go. But we will stay with it as long as there is a tornado warning in place. Like I said, that tornado warning is for northern Marshall County, the extreme northern sliver. Byhalia, Holly Springs, you're not included in this. It's up near Benton over toward east of I-269. Headed towards 72. What you're looking at to the south of this is very strong winds. So between 72 and I-22, north of Holly Springs, very strong winds. And the yellow color that you see here, that is a severe thunderstorm warning for winds that are blowing 50 to 60 miles an hour. And it does not take a tornado to do damage. You can get damage just as easily with winds like this coming through Marshall County that can knock out power, that can knock down trees and power lines. So even if you're not in a tornado warning, a good chunk of northern Mississippi remains in that severe thunderstorm warning. Eastern Tate County up to Marshall County, also through a good chunk of Benton County over toward Ashland. You've got the strong winds that are also headed in your direction. I'm going to wait just a little bit to see what the National Weather Service says about this tornado warning, but I am feeling hopeful, let's say, that things are looking better up here in northern Marshall County. These winds, They're going to be strong, but I don't think we have a threat of a tornado, at least not right at this moment. So we're going to watch it very carefully. If this storm does decide it wants to drop down a tornado again, it's going to be into Fayette County now. So Fayette County, this is a storm you need to keep your eye on over the next 45 minutes or so. We don't have any extension of that tornado warning yet, but if it does, it's going to be issued for Fayette County. And as we say that, here is an update to our severe thunderstorm warning. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This is going to be for another big chunk of western Tennessee and northern Mississippi. And you're going to see that pop up here in just a little bit. You should see a big new yellow box pop up. There it is right there. And basically what that is saying, that is the new severe thunderstorm warning for winds of 60 miles an hour and hail of half an inch or a little bit more than that. I don't think we have a big hail concern with this. I think our problem is the damaging winds. And to be completely honest with you, they still are saying a tornado is possible. So if you weren't with us about an hour and a half ago, again, I know I'm repeating myself for those of you who have been here, but sometimes what the National Weather Service will do is they'll issue a severe thunderstorm warning, which is just for wind, and then they'll put in it and say a tornado is possible. So there's not a tornado right now, but there could be one shortly. And so this storm coming into Holly Springs and into Marshall County still certainly has the potential to produce a tornado. And what I'm really interested in is that little hook signature right on the end of that storm. That is going to be moving off to the north and the east. So that is an area I want to watch. Let's check our shear detector here. Luckily, no major signs of rotation, just looking like some very strong winds in here. But again, a tornado could spin up at any moment, just like we saw it happen in DeSoto County. Our debris detector picked up on what looked to be a tornado that touched down near Fox Creek east of Olive Branch on Goodman Road. So that is an area that, like I said, with this storm, it could spin up a little tornado at pretty much any point. But for right now, I think our biggest concern is becoming these damaging winds and, of course, the flooding. We will get you an update on that flooding soon. But let me just put a track on this in northern Mississippi, and then I'll do the same for our friends in western Tennessee. I'm going to kind of track this out at about 30 miles an hour. So this is tracking the arrival of the worst winds in northern Mississippi. That's going to be near Holly Springs in about 45 minutes. Snow Lake Shores eventually up toward Ashland just after 7 o'clock, 7:10, 7:15 or so, and then up toward Middleton, Tennessee by about 7:30. That tornado warning in Mississippi has been canceled. We have allowed that tornado warning to be canceled. So that little box right there, you're going to see that go away. But the tornado warning in northern Mississippi for Marshall County has been allowed to expire. Now, our biggest concern now, like I said, continues to be the damaging wind gusts, continues to be the flash flooding. But for right now, the tornado warning has been canceled. Now, what we're going to do here in just a little bit, since we do not have an active tornado warning in our area, we are going to go back to our regular programming, which is just the news. So you're going to have news for 30 more minutes. What we're going to do here, we're going to take a break. We're going to send our CW channel back to regular programming. We'll take a break, and then we'll start off right off the top with ABC 24 News at 6:30 because we have a lot of stuff to still talk about. The flooding rain, the damaging winds. We have several roads in the Memphis area that are still impassable due to the heavy rain that has caused some flash flooding. So like I said, we'll take a break now. For our CW 30 viewers, we're going to send you back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're watching on ABC 24, we'll be right back after this for ABC 24 News at 6:30. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, are the reporters now? Okay.
Good.
So they're all in transit. Okay.
Okay.
Is it possible to get phoners with one of them or a phoner with one of them just to see what they're seeing on their drive?
So for Lakita's live shot, since she's not live, should we just read over it? You want to just read her?
Yes,
read her
but
stuff?
if we can get her on the phone, that would be better.